Okay, class, today I want to talk about the difference between nasal and nasalized sounds and why doing the wrong thing will get you in trouble, and why so many people do the wrong thing in Taiwan. First, what is a nasalized sound? Well, nasalized sounds are usually done with vowels or at the end of a vowel sound, and they are common in a number of languages like Portuguese and French. If we look at our little picture of a mouth with our teeth in the front, the back of the mouth here, tongue here, the throat out through the nasal passage. Nasalized sounds are made when the part of the throat right here, what we call the soft palate, drops down and the back of the tongue kind of comes up a little bit and blocks the air here so that no air can actually get into the mouth. Therefore, the air has to come out the nasal passage, which of course makes an type sound. When we're writing the phonetic form of this nasalizing, what we usually use is a tilde over the sound that has been nasalized. So if we look at the French word for good, bon, we will usually write it IPA because we have our brackets here, right? And we have the on, and we're nasalizing it, and you can hear that little on sound on the end. And please forgive my French pronunciation. In Taiwan, this is commonly the way that people say the ending nasal sounds, and this causes two big problems. The first is that doing this very often creates a reflexive habit that you do automatically, without thinking, almost any time you run into this ending nasal sound, or even any nasal sound. And the second problem is that because you are making these four sounds in exactly the same way, they sound exactly the same, at least the nasal part of it. Well, how is this different from an actual nasal sound? Well, the big difference is that the air goes into your mouth. The air goes into your mouth, and these will always be voiced sounds, so there's also voice going into your mouth. And somewhere in the mouth, either, let's say we're doing English, so we have an M there, and an N here, and an L here. Somewhere, you're blocking the air. And because you're blocking the air has to come in and bounce around, find out that it can't go anywhere, create this resonance within your mouth, and then go out the mouth. This period where it goes into the mouth and creates this resonance, this is what makes the sound. This is what makes a M distinct from an N or an O, the three English nasal sounds, and how they are very distinct from just a nasalized sound. Because of this reflexive habit that people in Taiwan develop to nasalize ending nasal sounds, and also because of the Mandarin basis of articulation that keeps pulling the tongue back, nasalizing these nasal sounds is extremely common. When this happens, the air does not go into the mouth, so the nasal sound is not going to be what we want. In fact, there will be no difference between a nasalized M and just a nasalized sound. So, how do you know if you're doing either nasal or nasalized? Well, the easy way to tell is if you stop blocking the sound, stop blocking the air, it should stop being nasal. So if you're going to say something like this, as soon as your lips are no longer touching, it should not be nasal anymore. Is not nasal. So this was not nasalized. However, if you hear something like that is nasalized. Your M was actually not an M. It was the nasalized M. Now the problem is, it's not really M. In fact, if I have nasalized back here, when I open my mouth or close my mouth, it doesn't change the sound. There's no difference. So for all of the nasal sounds, if you nasalize all of them, they don't sound any different. And like I said, this is an extremely common problem in Taiwan. So how do you practice disciplining your tongue? Because that's really the thing here, right? We can't let the tongue pull back. We can't let the soft palate drop. So how do we do that? Well, one way is to start with a good ah sound. If you move the tongue forward and you're doing your ah, your tongue will already be lifting and ready to block the air. You cannot do that. Start with a good ah, so your ear can hear what it sounds like, and then add an on the front. And hold the a little long so we can hear. You'll feel the resonance in your mouth. You'll feel a little vibration on your lips. And then as soon as your lips release, there will be no more nasalizing. Ma. Now, of course, most of you, the first time, you will say ma. And this is where the practice comes in. Go back to say your ah. Make sure the ah is good. Don't move your tongue. Pull your lips together and release. And if you keep doing this, you will start to learn to control your tongue. And then you can say the full word, mom, which is a little more difficult because you're anticipating this final nasal sound, and so you don't want to release the nasalizing that you will do. So most of you, the first time you try to do mom, it will sound like mom, and it will take some practice. So give that a try. That's it.